Hello, good day, and welcome to the 100th episode of Action Figure Obsession here on the Avian and Loaded channel, mate. Yeah, it was about a year ago, YouTube tells me, that I began doing these Action Figure Obsession videos. It started with, actually, I think he's right here, yeah. Started with this little guy right here, which is a Hasbro G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero 25th anniversary 3 3/4 inch Battle Android Trooper, one of Cobra's frankly hilarious and also terrifying army of, yeah, you see that lobster claw there? You want that around your neck? Uh, I collect 6 inch G.I. Joe classified series figures that Hasbro makes. And when I first started buying them in the year 2020, just before COVID broke out and the lockdowns began, I got the number 02 Snake Eyes in the classified series. And when I say number 02, it's because every figure in the classified G.I. Joe classified line has an individual number. Snake Eyes is also number 00, which at that time I wanted, but it was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, and it was $40, and I didn't get it, and now it goes for about $200. I did eventually get one sort of piecemeal. I got the figure, and then I got the accessories that came with them and the box that came with them, but I had to kind of put it all together in order to be able to say honestly that I have a 00 Snake Eyes. But it took a few months, and I managed to do it for quite a bit less than the $200 or so that it was going for at the time. But anyway, so I do collect G.I. Joe Classified series. G.I. Joe was the first action figure line that I ever collected back when I was about 6, 7 years old. My parents would give me the 12-inch G.I. Joes. And I enjoyed them a great deal, and eventually moved away from those to Migos, and from Migos to, I guess what happened after. Star Wars briefly, when the first Star Wars movie came out, but I really didn't enjoy the fact that they were so tiny, and they were tiny like this little 3 3/4 inch figure. You can see here he is next to a typical Marvel Legend. These 3 3/4 inch figures, and they do have some a nice level of detail on them. I mean, the robot arm on the 6 inch GI Joe classified Cobra Battle Android Trooper is nowhere near as nicely detailed or painted as this 3 3/4 inch one. But anyway, if you go back deep into the archives, you'll see that the very first action figure obsession video that I ever did was about this guy and about how I was breaking my vow because I had vowed to never go down the rabbit hole of buying 3 3/4 inch GI Joes because even though they're easier to collect because they take up less space on the shelf, I enjoy the 6 inch figures much more so than I do the 3 3/4 inch. They just seem more fragile and small in my hand. They make me feel like a giant playing with a baby toy. You know what I mean? So I've only ever bought two of them total because I do love Snake Eyes, and I didn't really do it on purpose. But interestingly, I ended up with sort of 3 3/4 inch versions of two of my favorite GI Joe classified figures, the Cobra Bat, who I have I think about 18 of with the different variants. I think I have 8 or 10 of the classic bat in this sort of yellow and black color scheme, and then there's other variants of the bat in like an Arctic bat and some other ones. And by the way, the topic of this 100th edition of Action Figure Obsession is just obsession. So if you were obsessing over what the hell is this all about, that's what it's about. It's obsession. So yeah, I love Snake Eyes, so I was originally only ever going to get this bat because I just wanted to see what are the 3 3/4 inch figures about. And this again is the 25th anniversary of G.I. Joe, I think a Real American Hero. I think that was the 25th anniversary that it was celebrating. And then the Snake Eyes I got just because I found him somewhere cheap too, and I also, Snake Eyes is by far my favorite G.I. Joe character. Um, I have about 40 of him in 6 inch or 7 inch scale on my Snake Eyes shelf. Maybe someday I'll show you those. But anyway, yeah, the very, very first action figure obsession video was about this 3 3/4 inch G.I. Joe 25th anniversary, a Real American Hero Cobra Bat, if you want to go back and watch that and see how far I've come, which frankly isn't very far at all. Oh, yeah, hold on. Take a drink. Yeah, I had to stop taping for a second here, recording, pardon me, because the Cobra Bat fell on the floor. I keep him and Snake Eyes up here in my little people display. These are my little around 3-inch figures, 3 to 4-inch figures. There's Buddy Christ. Say hi, everybody. That was personally given to me by Kevin Smith, believe it or not. And, you know, it's all good. What can I tell you? It's all good. And Ant-Man. All right. But anyway, yeah, when I put the bat back up here, he fell on the floor, but he doesn't seem to have suffered too much harm. Here's the aerial view of what we're looking at here, which is a big part of my action figure obsession, is army building. Army building in action figures refers to buying multiple copies of the same figure, and then depending on how they look, like for example the Tracksuit Mafia in the back left there, they come with those balaclava heads. They also come with 2 civilian heads, which I'm not using right now, to represent 2 of the characters from the Disney Plus Hawkeye show, if you ever saw that. But I like them better with the balaclavas. And then G.I. Joe Jerk on his channel did a video once where he showed the Tracksuit Mafia figure with Deadpool head from the SDCC Deadpool and Hydra Bob 2-pack. And I thought that looked really good. And if you live in the UK, you know exactly what Deadpool is saying here, right? Okay. So, anyway, so I like to army build. I want to say, like isn't probably the right word. I am obsessed with army building certain action figures. The 6-inch Cobra Bat, I like the little one that you just saw, only bigger, 6 inches. I have army built those. I have, I think, around 17 or 18 of them in various colors and configurations. And the G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Trooper / Cobra Infantry / what else is it known as? The Python Patrol Officer. There's a whole bunch of figures built on the same body, and I've probably got about 40 or 50 of those on that body. They all come with AK-47s, and they all they make a great army on the shelf. I'm sure I'll show you those at some point. But anyway, what we have here is an example of my army building obsession. So there's really only 3 action figures in front. Well, 4. You'll see there's 2 Bruce Banners there with the orange shirt, and they are a little bit skinnier than the other figures. But just to tell you who they are real quick, and I am trying to keep track of the time so this video doesn't cut off. We'll see how I do. But in the front, we have what I call the Gray Agency, and these figures all originally were Marvel Cinematic Universe Matt Murdock figures from the movie No Way Home. They came out in the Marvel Legends No Way Home wave. You'll see that none of them are actually wearing the so-called Charlie Cox Matt Murdock head. If the head actually looked like Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, as you know, on the Daredevil TV shows, both the Netflix one and the Disney Plus one, then I probably would have a Charlie Cox Matt Murdock in my Gray Agency, as I call it. My Gray Agency figures here, in my canon, they are a team of lawyers, fixers, and assassins who basically travel between 2 worlds, the Marvel 616 universe and the G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero / G.I. Joe Classified universe. So sometimes they work for Cobra, sometimes they work for Hydra. And originally, if you know how G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero came to be, originally, and the concept originally was that it was going to be S.H.I.E.L.D. versus Hydra, not G.I. Joe versus Cobra. But Hasbro asked Marvel if they had any ideas for a new toy line, and they repurposed the original idea, Larry Hama's original idea for S.H.I.E.L.D. versus Hydra, into G.I. Joe versus Cobra, and so a legend was born. So the Gray Agency, to my mind, and it depends on the photo shoot. I mean, if I'm doing a S.H.I.E.L.D. photo shoot, yes, that's Nick Fury. If I'm doing an X-Men photo shoot, that could be Professor X. If I'm doing a Superman photo shoot, that could be Lex Luthor. This is all part of the kit bashing appeal. That's, Norman Osborn there in the center, Agent Ross. But seen together like this, they are the members of the Grey Agency. And, oh, the Master from Doctor Who. I missed one. See? So that's one of my armies that I build, is my Grey Agency, and I was buying any Matt Murdock, MCU Matt Murdock that I could find when they were full price, which I think they might have been $22 when they first were released. They did go down to $10 at Ollie's, and I bought a few of those then. I can't not buy these if I find them. The Grey Agency, the MCU Matt Murdock figures from the No Way Home wave, because they are Marvel Legends' best suited body. They are very stable. They stand up really well. You've really gotta do a lot to knock them over. The legs, the feet, they're all stable. Unlike the earlier Agent Coulson chameleon body, which is what this Bruce Banner is built on. Now I have applied some heat to his feet and legs, so he will stand up, but he doesn't really want to, as you can see. The slightest anything, and he wants to fall over. But that's because he has those shoddy feet and those rickety, spindly Agent Coulson chameleon body legs. So yeah, I collect the Matt Murdock figures as my Grey Agency. Then I collected a whole bunch of these Tracksuit Mafia. I actually used to have more, but they got really expensive there for a while, and so I sold a few off for multiples of what I paid for them originally. But then they went to Ollie's too, and I sort of rebuilt my army at that point. How many we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I thought I had 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I do have 9. Okay. And at one point I had 10, but I had a friend down south who was despairing to me on social media about how he didn't have one and he really wanted one. So I actually sent him. And all my Tracksuit Mafia parts are in my fodder bin. The extra heads, the extra melee weapons that they came with. I gave them all shotguns from the Valaverse Weapons Pack Lima, because I bought 2 Weapons Pack Lima, and I thought it would be cool. Well, most of them have shotguns. This one guy here has a hatchet from early Valaverse Action Force Weapons Pack. But and that guy's got a baseball bat over there. But most of these guys are wielding shotties from Weapons Pack Lima, from Valaverse Action Force, because a shotgun seems like a good weapon for the Tracksuit Mafia. And of course, in this headcanon, Deadpool has taken over and is kind of leading the Tracksuit Mafia the way Daredevil at one point took over the Hand and was leading a bunch of ninjas. And then the other guys that I obsessively army build, and I think that there's 1 or 2 missing here. I think that I have them somewhere in my displays. But is Egghead, and in the center here we see Egghead. I gave him a Cerebro helmet from the Savage Land Professor X, because I thought it would make his head look even eggier. But also sort of to denote him as the leader of this particular faction. I consider these 3 different factions: the Tracksuit Mafia, the Grey Agency, and the Scientists. And to Egghead's left there, these are all Egghead bodies except the 2 Bruce Banners, one immediately behind Egghead and his gun there on his right. And then there's another Bruce Banner here, but they're both scientists wearing lab coats, so maybe they're identical twins. Could be anything. It's it's your collection. Make them what you want them to be. For example, the guy next to Egghead on our left, his right, is it's another Egghead body, but I slapped a Victor Von Doom head from the Secret Wars 2-pack with Captain Marvel, and he looks pretty good with that head on there. And that is actually my G.I. Joe classified Dr. Venom, who is another bad guy that works for Cobra in the G.I. Joe universe. We have a Doctor Strange way in the back with those crazy goggles on, and he gives me kind of mad scientist vibes with those goggles. The Bruce Banner back there. We have Norman Osborn from No Way Home. He's something of a scientist himself. This actually, right in the center there, the blonde guy, is my Dr. Donald Blake, Thor's alter ego when he first appeared. Got a Tony Stark back there behind Dr. Blake. You got the Captain. and again, another Bruce Banner. So these are my factions. Any of these three figures, if I find them and I have the money, I will buy them. I can't help myself. I am obsessed. It is an action figure obsession, and that's what I wanted to talk about on this, the 100th episode. And now I think I'll start numbering them. The 100th episode of Action Figure Obsession. Thanks for joining me. If you like my content, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video with the people in your life that you think might enjoy what I'm doing here. Obsessing over my action figures. Because really, I mean, you know, it's what else are you going to do in this life, right? That's going to do it for this one. Thanks again for stopping by Action Figure Obsession. If you watched all 100 videos, thank you so much for your support. It's very encouraging and gratifying, and I appreciate each and every one of you that watches. And again, like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you on the next Action Figure Obsession.